Hello, 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 and welcome everyone to this week's edition of Tech Talk Friday. Of course, while we're here, we're going to talk about tech today, and this is a weekly live stream. So you are part of the show, we are part of the show, everyone is part of the show. Thank you so much for joining us wherever you're joining us, whether it's on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube. And Tech Talk Friday is brought to you by Nicole. So if you want to find out more about Nicole, go over to the link that you see there on screen, nicole.app. It's a learning experience platform for you to accelerate your skills, future growth, and career. And if you want to get your subscription on Nicole, whether it's 3 months or a year, there's a promo code that is on the roll at the bottom, Roshan T Lee 30. Use that promo code, you get 30% discount on your subscription. Now, to the show. Tech Talk Friday. This is where we get at least 2 guests a week to talk about things that are important in the space of tech here in Malaysia and also globally as well. So this week's theme is going to be jumping between states, but it's on digital efforts that are happening within states themselves. All right. So now we are going to do something that we do every week. Of course, I'm not alone on this show. I am together with my equal host, who today was amazingly early. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Karamjit Singh from Digital News Asia. Look at the man. So happy, so happy, so happy at home. So we are all at home right now. So by the way, guys, today's numbers, we went past 8,000, unfortunately. Looks like the trend is going to go up. Just stay safe at home, guys. Get your vaccine. And actually, speaking about vaccine, we usually do this thing every week as well. Digital News Asia's pick of the week. And I was just thinking about this, and Karam sends me the story. And yes, I think I'm one of the lucky ones who actually got to register during the first round of the AstraZeneca vaccine. I got my slot. It's happening this Sunday. But from that first experience to the most recent experience, too, which is one is for the older elderly above 60 and the under 60. Yeah, without saying that we're getting 1 million vaccines out, but the experience for everybody just wasn't pleasant at all. Registering on the portal, and we're speaking about 70 million being actually put in to actually develop that whole thing. But the news, how to build the vaccine registration system. Don't. So Karam, what's this story about?
Yeah, so really this was, so by the way, I disagree with you that everybody had a bad experience. You know, as is typical now, we live in a world where you only hear from the noisy or the angry or the unhappy people.
True.
980,000 or 960,000 people, right? Within 1 hour, got their managed to get through, although some didn't think they got through, and the next day they say, hey, they had an appointment, right? But for that kind of intense pressure load on the system, I thought it did very well, right? Because and it was too bad that not even 10%, not even 90,000, 96,000 of those who got it actually put a message on social media, say, hey man, wow, great experience, I got in very fast, thank you. No, of course, because you expect it to be a great experience.
Yeah.
So this is the reality of life now. You will only hear about the negative aspects. So, this is actually a good effort. But being a good effort, it should have been flawless. I think it could have been a reflection of how technology in Malaysia has advanced, where everyone had a flawless experience, right? It wasn't too bad. And the thing that I'm not happy about is that during there was a live press conference yesterday, by Khairi Jamaluddin, the minister. He actually flew to Sarawak, gave the live update, and he said he was not happy with the experience or so. And he said there's only so many heart attack days I can handle. Yeah, he was saying he's not happy and we're doing something, but there was actually a question asked for which is the company that developed the system, and he didn't answer that. He sidetracked that. He said, I'll get back to you later. And I think that in this day and age, there's just extremely poor form. And the minister should, reveal which is the company that has given the contract. And actually, that 70 million is actually, nobody has been given 70 million. He said 70 million is the cap. And this cap was assigned by Ministry of Finance. And there's a lot of things that are being built, not just a simple registration system, but because you're not clear in your communication and you don't let the CEO of this company come out and take brickbats and defend himself or herself, of course, then people are going to think it's a crony company, right? Hey, somebody got it and they outsource it to India, to Azerbaijan, or somebody there doing it, right? So that's unfortunate, lah. But that aside, so Dr. Sean Tan, being a very level-headed, programmer and a lawyer, also trained lawyer, I asked him to write a piece because he's technically very adept. And I was quite surprised by his story, and he did very well, right? And he said that, look, the way you're going to eliminate problems, with the online registration system is don't even have one, right? Which is kind of interesting. You obviously can use clinics, and you can use many of the hospitals, right? And even pharmacies then, to have people go there and get it dispersed. But it's if you're going to do a build online system, you redistribute the load so that it's not like a one-way highway, right? So you're literally building a 6-lane highway, and only people like age 51 to 60 can use this. If you're a male, or if you're female, or if you're based, or you're in Penang, Johor, use this link to go there. So there are many ways that you could have redistributed load. So it's being very practical. And you should say the experience in the UK National Health Service, they obviously had a vaccine booking system also. And it actually tells you you're in a queue. That the example, the screenshot he took was that there are now 210 people in the queue. Your estimated time is 5 minutes. You can continue to wait or try back later. And blah, blah, blah. It's very practical. So we could have done more. But there's no need to learn from this lesson, because Kyrie said they had enough of stress of people criticizing it because the experience was poor, that they're not going to have this Malaysian version of Hunger Games anymore. And also because now it's proven that everybody wants the AstraZeneca vaccine, right? Again, see, the perception was that, hey, it's dangerous, we don't want. It's only the 10, 50, 1,000 loud people going on social media saying like that. And you think everybody doesn't want it because the silent majority are silent. So now it's clear that that is not true. So now it's going to go back into the mainstream PIC system, right? And I think PIC is the Malay acronym for something, and I forgot what this was now, but I think Malaysians will know how to go and look. So now, end of story lah. No more Malaysian Hunger Games version 3.0. Version 1, in which you were involved, Nigesh, I think obviously went way better. And although it took almost 3 hours for the almost 300,000, vaccination to be taken up, still successful. The fact that the system was able to handle almost 1 million in 1 hour, less than 1 hour, great. Of course, the first 15 minutes, they could not go on because they underestimated the load, right? And the system hung or whatever. But they got it right in 15 minutes, not 15 hours. So sorry, we're going to do it again tomorrow. So let's give credit also where it was credit is due. They were locked, jammed, solid. 15 minutes later, it went live, and it managed to get so many people online. But that doesn't take away from the fact that it really could have been and should have been flawless. And please tell us who the damn company is. Okay, there's no national secret here, right? And I think everyone should go on social media to demand, hey, I want to know which company got the contract to build this system. Let the CEO come out, or him or her come out and defend what went wrong or what went right or so. Okay, that's all I want to say about this. What do you want to add about this before we move on to our guests?
I have to say that with Kyrie, he seems to be unlucky when it comes to apps and all that. I remember that there was last time I worked actually with him during the SEA Games period. So
all these stories coming out. Okay, man.
Yes.
Tell us, man.
So that time, I don't know if everyone remembers, but remember SEA Games, the first few days, there's this whole issue on TV screens where the scoring system, the medals and all that was going haywire. That was actually due to the software itself, the software which was aggregating the scores. And I remember, and people want to point fingers at Kyrie, but knowing him and how he reacted that time, he was very, very critical about the software. He just wasn't able to see everything at the same time. And we have to understand, this guy probably is dealing with a lot of things at the same time, right? He's dealing with the vaccine distribution, those coming in, what's happening with Sinovac, the people's view on AstraZeneca, all these things he's dealing with. So he has to delegate it to people. But unfortunately, sometimes the delegation goes wrong and you have issues where happen. He does not mean bad, but sometimes he just gets unlucky with that. And to say about what Karam just said, I agree with you. I think majority had a pleasant enough experience. And you're right. It is the loudest voices which I heard, and unfortunately, the loudest voices are the negative voices that I heard. The majority
and I think that's fine. I love that social media is the added level of pressure point for the government, and the government takes social media comments very seriously because they know it's genuine. It's an individual upset, not happy, and totally fine. But let's not color and the fact that everybody had a bad experience, right? So I'm just putting perspective, lah.
Exactly. And I think you are right on the ball when you said that, because when I saw this news coming out, and even with that whole 70 million thing and all that, of course, I'm not naive to think that they're going to spend 70 million on a website. There's probably a lot more to spend on that, but communication, how you communicate to people, and things like you said, let people know who the company is so that you know who to hold accountable and who to ask the questions to. Communicate clearly so that everybody knows. So I think you're right on the ball on that. And it's a learning lesson for us. I mean, we are in unprecedented times. And we all have to be somehow patient as well. I know it's frustrating, but be patient. We will get through this. And actually, whatever that we are learning from now, all the tech that we're using right now, all the digital tools that we're using right now, this is going to benefit us in the future. We're going to learn from this and benefit in the future. Now, I got to move on swiftly so that we are on time. We've got 3 more articles on Digital News Asia. I'm just quickly going to mention it. Now, if you're thinking about Islamic fintech, right? So FICRA, Malaysia's idea to accelerate Islamic fintech. So read up on this. Applications are open. Solutions demonstrated at SC times SC Conference 2021. So despite a projected US 4 trillion Islamic finance assets, only 400 Islamic fintechs are there. So go read up on this, find out about what FICRA is doing. Another one is SoCrowd. All right, SoCrowd. And now, if you guys don't realize, there's a lot of digital events going on. I do have friends who actually handle digital spaces, event spaces. So these are like empty spaces which you can actually have digital events in. So now this is something to that, which is avatar-based events platform SoCrowd arrives in Malaysia, created by Adenology Labs and Magnus Games. So it gamifies events experience with avatars, rewards, points, interactables, and sociables. So yes, digital event is a thing. So this is going to add on to that experience. And finally, MDEC launches innovative exchange program. Mix links corporates to pool over 800 local tech startups and claims to solve pain points. Program offers partnerships, market access, talent, empowerment, CSR programs. So go find out what MDEC, the Innovation Exchange Program, is all about. Now, those are the 4 articles that are on Digital News Asia this week. And now, time to move and find out what's happening in states. And we're going to start with the hotspot state. Well, I had to bring that pun in. It is hotspot for either good or bad reasons, but it doesn't matter. It's still the state which contributes the most to our Malaysian economy. So let's bring on Kai Peng Yong, CEO of Selangor Information Technology and Digital Economy Corporation, SIDEC. And we're going to talk about how Selangor is driving its own digital economy.
Yeah.
Hi, Kai.
So, hi.
Hi. Thank you for Tech Talk Friday for inviting me. And hello to Nigesh and Karamjit.
Thanks. So very quickly, guys, we wanted to bring on SIDEC also because, when Nigesh was saying that, we are all in a pandemic situation, we got to adapt. I think that the beauty of it is that Selangor is not adapting. Selangor is now taking it to the next level. Since last year, I think you've been following, there's been a lot of news about Selangor, first under SITEC, now SIDEC, right? Doing a lot of things to empower and to enable its business community based in Selangor, right? To adapt and to thrive in the new reality. So they're doing a lot of things. And I tell you, you credit Selangor for putting their mouth where their money is, right? Or putting their money where their mouth is. Yeah, sorry, I got that wrong. The state has allocated 365 million ringgit this year, right, from their development budget, 365 million ringgit, which is about 85 million US dollars, I guess. And this is a 33% increase from 2020, right, into digital economy initiatives, right? That tells you how serious they are. And their ambition also is for Selangor to become the leading smart state in Southeast Asia. Forget about Malaysia. They want to be number 1 in Southeast Asia. So it's great that they've got ambitious goals. And also, they talk about wanting to be, of course, the leading agency. They want SIDEC to be the leading government agency at all levels in driving digitalization and innovation in this country. So there's a lot of pressure on Kai Peng's shoulders. So, Kai Ping, with that, I think we'll have some questions for you, but I think you want to share some key talking points first, right?
Yeah. Maybe the host can help me to share the key talking points.
All right. So to our producer Shashi, who's in the background, who usually we don't see, but who's working really hard. There you go.
Yeah. We maybe go to page 2. Yeah. When we're talking about digitalization, as our national policy as well, my digital. Talking about setting a targets of putting 870,000 SMEs on e-commerce, and then 30% efficiency of SMEs. So I think what we're looking at the kind of situation where I think a lot of SMEs or Malaysia's business has a digital presence. They were in social media, e-commerce, But if you go to the next page, then you will find that, and then when we talk about then a lot of people would think that the digital journey is basically just e-commerce or digital presence. As long as you have a Facebook account, you're selling on Shopee Lazada, so you already digitalize. But instead of that, we need to do that. There's still a long road to go, because you need to have digital operation, then including not only your digital marketing, e-post system, your HR payroll, ERP accounting, and CRM, and digital process, even procurement. And then, of course, when we talk about more advanced level, being using AI to do that data analytic, business intelligence, and also because you have so much data now, cybersecurity is the main issue. So a lot of the SME is still, focused on digital presence and e-commerce. But then, even then, e-commerce is booming, but it's not, it's not everyone was in it. And then there are many forms of e-commerce. And then we are actually very low in terms of adopting the digital operation. Next page will show you the our digital tools that we use. If you look at that, we are. We are, so it kind of asymmetric kind of situation. We are very high in terms of smartphones. Phones, I think generally the perception is that every Malaysian has 2 phones. Computer, laptops, and internet connection, we were 90% or something like that. But then in terms of finance accounting system, we only have 50% companies is using that. HR 28%, and then lower, and then even ERP 10%, stuff like that. So that's a kind of reality, that the asymmetric kind of situation, where I think there's a comparison that in Northern Asia, you look at Hong Kong, Taiwan, onwards, 95% of companies in cloud. But then in Southeast Asia, maybe I think less than 10% is in cloud. And then digital tools are very low, the usage of digital tools. So so I think that's a challenge for us to be able to digitalize. So next page. And then, of course, a lot of challenge actually came from lack of knowledge, overall strategy, because a lot of people thought that I have a digital Facebook account, WhatsApp, and selling is enough already. And then, of course, the other issue is lack of human resource. I think that this is the major problem in all around the world. You don't have enough talents,
correct. Global.
Global. That's global. Even if you go to China, the same problem happened as well. Then, of course, I think the major issue is the top management. The top management has to sync with the latest development. So everyone is talking about that. If you go to the business committee, everybody is talking about IR 4.0 and stuff like that. But I think a lot of times, yes, we are repeating the mantra. But how do we start? What is the first step? How do we do? So I think that's the challenge. So we haven't seen any failure of digitalization among the businesses. There's actually no cases. But half big kind of situation is basically due to the lack of will from the top management. Okay. Now if you look at next page, and then of course that's what Selangor been doing. So at first we start with the basic one, Selangor e-Bazaar Raya campaign since last year, working with Shopee and Lazada to get as many micro SME on board. And then November 11 campaign as well, and until the latest, the current past Chinese New Year e-Bazaar campaign and the Raya e-Bazaar campaign, where the Selangor state government has subsidized, every campaign more than 2 million vouchers. Yeah, to get all the micro SMEs merchants to get on board and to start the sales. So I think we have a very encouraging result. If you go to the next page, next page, please. Yeah. And then, you look at that, our total sellers from the three last campaign, doesn't include the Raya campaign, is already 160,000 sellers were involved.
Wow.
Including 52,000 new seller. We allocated 5 million. And then our generated kind of sales is actually almost 80 million. So if you look at the whole ripple effect, the whole basket, right? You don't buy one product, but then you buy other products. So almost 2 billion. So these are all audited number, came from not only from Lazada, but also from our auditors as well. So it means that actually e-commerce is booming during COVID time, right? And that is one of the proof of it. But then if you look at the next page, so I think what we have been doing is consistently for the last 5 years with our predecessor of SIDEC and now SIDEC. We have do a lot of e-commerce class. We train, we have 83 classes for the last 5 years. We have trained more than, this last year we trained more than 2,700 people. So the plus came to our class. So our class is
these 2,700 are business owners lah. It's not the business owners and their marketing executive or whatever, right? No.
Business owners, although a lot of them are entrepreneurs as well. Okay. So they are thinking of how I can start my business or the traditional SME as well. Okay.
Yep.
Of course, we do other campaigns. If you look at next page. And then, and then also we go through other second-tier cities in, Selangor.
Very important.
To go to the traditional brand and mortar. So we invited a lot of speakers that including Shopee, Lazada, and Google, and other like Ninja and Boost and stuff like that. So basically, what we want to do is that immediately after the so-called conference, the class, then immediately they would be able to go out and sign up with the all this service provider, so they can start their business immediately. So I think this is our approach. Unfortunately, we can't continue with that because due to the MC.
Yeah.
Okay. Then next page is please. And then also we do have onboarding program. We work with hundreds of merchants and providing to start with marketplace and then having their own full-fledged website with payment gateway, Shopify and shopping chart and stuff like that. So this is what we've been doing. Next page.
All right.
Okay. And then we organize the one and only Malaysia Top E-commerce Merchant Award consistently for 5 years. So to basically what we do is upskilling, training, and then onboarding. And then the stage 3 is to basically assist them to do branding. To promote them, those are upcoming new sellers. Yep. So you'll find that a lot of them actually has improved so much, and then the business has improved so much, and then their sales are almost across some into a few millions and up to 10 million as well. So the past 3 to 4 years. Okay. And then next page. I think the major projects I'm going to share is we are launching the 5 million Selangor SME digitalization matching grant. So then we go to next page, please. Basically, the focus of the grant is very similar to the previous grant that actually by the central government as well. But our focus is Selangor SME. So we want to encourage them to take up digital tools. So that including e-commerce, HR payroll system, cloud accounting, digital marketing, and e-post and payment gateway. so that all these brick and mortar traditional SMEs will be able to, subscribe to this system. Then Selangor government will provide a 50% matching grant of maximum 5,000. So we expect to benefit more than 1,000 Selangor SMEs. So they can apply. And if you look at the next page, the eligibility criteria, and of course we have a list of very respected special evaluation committee led by Dato' Wan Ting, and also Dato' Michael Kang, SME Association of Malaysia, and a few more industry player, veteran industry player as well. And then if you look at the next page, the eligibility. Then we have actually open for application for SME, but we extended from due to MCO until June 15, so they can still apply. If you look at the next page, then and then I think we're looking at the company owned 51% by Malaysian, as long as the business is registered in Selangor or have a business address in Selangor. So I think what we want to do is more being inclusive, and then we're looking at targeting those annual sales turnover of 300,000 to not exceeding 1 million. So I think that this is where we are looking at. So we want to push this one, because I think what we know that the e-commerce adoption is very popular now after 4 or 5 years of promotion, But then I think the challenge, the hard nuts to crack is basically the SME, the traditional SMEs, the retail, automotive industry. Surprisingly, you find Malaysian really like cars, so we have a lot of automotive, SME out there, retail, and then including those sundry shop and stuff like that, or even I stumbled into aquarium shops. So apparently during the MCO time, Malaysian a lot of Malaysian actually adopt pets. So the pet industry is booming, but then they're having problem because traditional pet industry, which the aquarium shop I went to, couldn't manage, the offline and also online shops. So how do they do it? So of course they have to adopt to digital system, so that the stock keeping, to make sure that the fulfillment is being done and stuff like that. So I think this is very crucial. Yeah.
So, but are you saying like aquarium shop? I thought they would be able to use WhatsApp, but not enough for them just to use WhatsApp.
No, I think they find that actually their sales on Shopee, Lazada is very well. So apparently you can't buy live fish, animals on Shopee, Lazada, but the rest of the the accessories is there. So I mean, when we were in Silicon Valley, actually the VC taught us, actually they look at the pet industry is similar to automotive industry. So you have car, right? So the pet is automotive, like a car. But then actually the income generated is more coming from accessories, services. Also they look at that perspective, and they told us actually pet industry in Southeast Asia is 20 years behind US. So
20 years, wow.
20 years behind US. So the US pet industry has, leading globally, and then people willing to spend, because the more digitalized you are, somehow you really like pets, and then.
Not me, man. I'm trying to get my wife to get rid of the puppy.
You
a comfort puppy from January. I'm not happy, okay? Sorry, you're saying that, but you're talking so much about e-commerce, but there are a lot of Selangor being the engine industrial hub of the country. There are also manufacturing-based SMEs. I'm always getting the feeling like your SIDEC is not helping them. So can you correct that perception if that's wrong on my part?
Yeah, I think we have a division of a task, because as our mother company Invest Selangor is working with on IR 4.0 kind of project.
Invest Selangor.
That is for the the bigger enterprise. So we're looking at SMEs. So that's how we divide our tasks.
So you are but when you say SMEs also, I think there's so many SMEs who are manufacturers, right? They're in the supply chain. And they're below like 50 million ringgit revenue for sure. So those still fall under you, or those under Invest?
Those they can work with Invest Selangor and MITI usually.
Okay lah. So
that
basically, if you are in manufacturing, means invest Selangor lah, not SIDEC lah. So at least good for people to understand that here. Whereas you also help startup. You talk about Silicon Valley. For those who don't know, because Selangor has got the Selangor Accelerator Program (SAP), and it's from that they actually took a small cohort of about 4 or 5 startups, right, to Silicon Valley last year before lockdown. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, we went last year. I think actually we in February, and as soon as we came back a week after that, San Francisco was declared emergency. But we will learn a lot from there. I think.
Hey, lucky they didn't call it the Selangor what virus? Not China, but Selangor virus. Thank God Trump didn't know, man.
Okay, but then I think finally important is that actually our startup is not that our startup is actually on par with the with the global startup.
Really? Wow.
So we went to the startup grind conference there and stuff like that. So I can observe a few grouping in Silicon Valley that actually a lot of the Indian startups and also from a lot of startups from Eastern Europe, actually former USSR and those, they were there. They were the main groups there. I think in terms of the ideas, capability, technical ability, and stuff like that, we are actually on par. But the issue is exposure. The exposure, the opportunity to raise one, because over there you can easily raise $7 to $8 million US. That's
Here you got to go to Singapore at the moment lah. But can I take one question, because we got to move on to Chan? You are focusing on the ecosystem, and with SIDEC now also, I know you and Dato' Teng said that you want to work in a collaborative manner. So talk about how you are also working with the ecosystem and how you don't see MDEC or My Digital as competition. Hey, they're trying to steal our thunder. I feel that you don't look at it that way, which is fantastic. But can you explain that?
Yeah. I think we look at them as our important partners. And actually, we just have a meeting last week with My Digital,
nice.
Mr. Fabian, and his teams. We actually talk about how we could align with the national policy. Just I talk about I think what the goals in the My Digital are common sense actually. So and it's very ambitious. So the challenge is for all of us to invest how much resources we're going to invest, and we can't rely on central government. It takes us whole village to raise it. So it takes a whole industry. So private sectors, we need a lot of investment in private sectors. We need the education sectors, and everyone has to come in to hold hand together, because if you look at the targets listed, there's a page out there and listed out 3 sectors. I think very noble ideas, but then I think what we need to promote is all of us need to tell the whole Malaysian society is that we need to invest in digital. As I said before, we will get used to invest 20, 30 million or 100 millions in building a road, a highway. Okay, that's biasa, but then if you suggest that we invest 20 million in our digital infrastructure, wow, that's going to take years to debate.
Audit and double audit. Okay, now only can.
And then I think that's the whole hoo-ha why that actually you look at that, the 70 million to build the whole healthcare system is not enough actually. So we need investment and consistent long-term investment into that. So I think the message we want to pass up is that we are very happy to work with MDEC, My Digital Roadmap, aligned with national policy. But we wanted to also to push the Selangor startups and SMEs to the forefront, to be ambitious. I think what we found out in Silicon Valley is that we are at the same path. It's just that we need to go out and to shout out. I think that's where our startups are weaker compared to Indian and also the Eastern Euro startup.
Those
So
damn Indians are everywhere, too many of them.
no, the brilliant guys that you can
Yes.
see that. I think the issue is that we are not brave enough. We are not to shout out to and then willing to cooperate. I think that's what the takeaway that we learned from Silicon Valley.
Good. All right, great.
Right.
Thanks,
Right.
Mark. I think Nigesh, you have any last comment before bring on Chan?
No, I actually have a lot I wanted to ask, but then looking at time, I think I gotta hold it and probably interact with Kai Ping on his LinkedIn. So if you guys want to ask more questions to Kai Ping about what's happening in Selangor, especially the digital economy and the initiatives that's going on, and how maybe you can be a part of it, go over to his LinkedIn, ask him the question over there.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Kai Ping. Don't go away. We'll try to get you back at the end to sort of wrap the whole show up. All right. Now, moving on quickly because we are short on time. We are moving to the second state, which I hold very dear. Selangor is where I live. Penang is where I like to go away, state away from state. Hold it very dear because it's also kampong for me. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get...
Hey, what do you mean kampong? You're from Penang, is it?
Kampong as in my dad is from Penang. So I did live there for a short while when I was really, really, really young. So
I was born in Ipoh, but I lived in Penang. I went from standard 1 to form 6. I was in Penang.
Which part? Mainland, island?
Georgetown.
Georgetown. All right. Before we have a conversation, let's bring Kee Siak Chan, better known, founder and CEO of Exabytes Network Sendirian Berhad, and we're going to talk about how Exabytes partners Penang to drive digital skills.
So Chan is one of the key pillars of the Penang ecosystem, right? Technology ecosystem is he has long been doing a lot, right, to help grow the ecosystem in a very selfless manner. So it's full credit to him. And
Karam, I noticed something there which is going to irk you. He's a Star Wars fan.
Also a Lego fan.
The force is weak, man. The force is weak.
If you didn't know, Karam is a Star Trek fan.
Star Trek, man. You gotta go Star Trek. Okay. But anyway, let's not get sidetracked. But so he's doing a lot, and I was pleased to see that they are partnering with the state, and especially the Penang Youth, which I didn't know actually Penang. Penang Youth Development Corporation. I don't know there was a youth. I'm from Penang, so everybody knows our PDC, Penang Development Corporation. So partnering with them, right, to roll out digital skills, and these are very specific digital skills. They're not talking about AI. They're not talking about analytics, right? They're not talking about machine learning or ERP, but very specific to helping you actually create a digital presence, which I found interesting, right? With virtual private servers and all that. So Chan, tell us about this initiative and why was the focus on this particular skill set?
Okay, so instead of we saying that it's focused on a specific skill set, right, it's actually a program that is tailor-made for youth. Because as we've spoken just now, right, there are many programs that's already out there available for all levels of businesses, right?
Okay.
But just have a support for businesses is definitely not enough, because we need to make sure we have enough talents and also new generations of future entrepreneurs and all that are being properly trained and equipped with all the digital needs, right? So that they can continue to sustain our overall digital initiative. So that's how we actually crafted this program, because we see there's a gap, right? Like we also aware this is a fundamental issues, right? Our youth, they study ITs, they learn about all these technology stuff in university or colleges, but are very lacking of the opportunity or live platform to actually practice their knowledge, right? So this is basically what we are doing at Exabytes as a company. We have all these resources, we have all these platforms. So that's why we say, why not we put a part of resources aside so that we can allow all these youth to actually come and apply. And there's absolutely no strings attached so long they are qualified under a youth definition and they are attached to a college and universities. So we'll provide the platform and the resources so that they can have their own servers, have their own VPS or their websites or e-commerce to do whatever they learned in school, they can turn into something in actions.
So sorry, you said as long as they're still in college, so you're 18. I think your criteria is 18 to 35. But the second criteria is you have to be enrolled in a college, whether diploma or certificate doesn't matter, right? Doesn't have to be degree, correct?
Yep. Well, this is not a program to support the business. To support business, we have many other programs, but this is specifically for the youths who are still learning and studying.
Okay. Now, is this only? I also thought that this is only for Penang youth. No, your IC doesn't have to show Penang address, right?
Actually, this program is available for all the youths in Malaysia. Just we pick Penang as our initial launch. Yeah, I think it's one Malaysia. We don't really see, from Penang or you're from Selangor. No, just one Malaysia program for all the youths in Malaysia.
But I thought because the state government is also funding it, so of course you need to be politically correct and say we are prioritizing, Penang youth. No,
No, this program is actually 100% funded by us, but we get very good support from Penang State to actually help us endorse and also make it accessible to more youth. Because there are more channels reaching out to all the youth in Penang.
Yeah. Wow, 100%, funded by Exabytes. So, but I guess being the cynical journalist, nothing is ever free. So the benefit to Exabytes is that when these kids, right, I don't know how many, whether there's a max limit. And there is a max limit, I guess, because there's a max amount you're allocating, which I think in the press release said 200.
We were looking about 1,000 slots, total out about 500,000 ringgit as a
$500,000 ringgit, so 1,000 slots. So the advantage is that if these students learn on your platform, and when they're ready to either build their own platform, a website, a back-end engine, or work in a company and they are assigned in the technical team to do that, of course they say, hey, we got to use Exabytes, right? So that's the value lah. So you're taking a leaf out of the Google and and all those platforms like Facebook, Google Playbook lah, right?
This is a small part of it, but I see there's a bigger benefit if we can grow more solid digital talents. That's where you actually shake and move and upgrade the entire industry. So when the industry and the market become bigger, I think it has a lot more business opportunities for everyone.
So this is the whole credo of enabling so that the market grows by itself as well, right?
Yes, everyone has to play their own parts. So as a Penangites, with a HQ in Penang and also fellow Malaysians, this is at least something that we can do, and this is which we are very passionate about, which is to help and build the next generation of talents.
Right. So I've got a question here because you said some few words just now, and especially because my day in day out job is skill development. So I like to think of things as a journey rather than you do pieces here and there. And something that even Kai Ping mentioned just now when he showed his slides as well. So when we talk about especially digital and digital technology, we tend to go for the buzzwords like AI, IoT, those kind of things. But AI, IoT are what I would classify as emerging technologies. These are the technologies that are going to be important in time, but not before the basics are done. And you talked about early on the basic stuff. So are you sort of framing them where when people come in, yes, they may have an IT degree or an IT undergraduate, but where do they start with first? Do they start with what are the core technologies right now? Like cloud computing is important. That's really important right now. Web and mobile technologies are important. These are the fundamental technologies that they should go through right now before they even step foot into AI, IoT, all these buzzword technologies, right? So is that how you're sort of structuring it, or is it more of a, okay, it depends on what you're interested in, just come join?
Yeah, it is. I think I always look at the fundamental, right? When among the fundamental, there are still so many gaps. What we bother about, the future 20, 30 years, right? And plus, there are already many people, many agencies working towards that.
Yeah.
But the fundamental is like there are still many people, many segments that need a lot of help and support, guidance. So I think that's where we as entrepreneurs, as a business, we are coming in to help.
Right. So you're focusing on that. And then how do they actually go through these programs? Are they remote? Are they in person? What's the mode in getting people on board into the program and going through the program?
Yeah, so I believe the learning part and also the education part is already well covered by the college, the universities and all that. But what they are lacking is a platform that they can turn what they learn into actions, right? So and usually this will cost money. For example, you have to go and buy and subscribe from all the providers. So under this youth program, basically offer this to the youth for free, right? So for example, let's say they study some web design. They potentially can help their parents create a website or do e-commerce stores, right? To help their parents to do their digital transformation. And this is actually sponsored and funded by us, right? Although the end result is used by their parents, but they apply as a youth, as a student, they are still qualified. So we have no
Right.
problem with that.
Right.
So this
Okay.
is benefited. So, but obviously, if you're a student studying software, right, and maybe hardware, then you'd benefit. So, if you're your business admin major or your journalism major like me once upon a time, right, then this you can obviously still apply, but you'll think that, hey, this is too technical for me, so I want to apply. I know you're opening it to anyone, but the ones who naturally will levitate towards this, will be those already in a software kind of program, right? Technical, learning some technical skill, correct?
This is also actually a gap that I noticed. For example, I have friends who study business administrations in the Europe, right? But as part of the business admin course, they actually need to learn online digital marketing and e-commerce as part of the subject.
Interesting.
But I think in the part of this world here, right, when you say business, what we can imagine is all this still very traditional, old-fashioned way of doing business. I think that's exactly the gaps that we need to address, right? So all these business stream students and all that, they really need to equip themselves or get themselves exposed with something that's outside their core learning subject that is highly relevant now and also definitely in the future.
Okay.
Right. And probably one last question before we get Kai Ping back in as well. And this question is more of the whole idiom of I don't know what I don't know kind of thing, where until today, where I was researching and finding out about what you're doing, I didn't know this was happening, right? And more so, like if you're talking about a person who's doing business, did MBA or whatsoever, they're not going to know what they need to learn. So how are you reaching out to these people to actually let them know that, look, this is here, this is important for you, this platform is here for you, we've got the tools for you to use and experiment? How are you getting them to know about this?
I think, like it or not, right? If you will go back and convince our parents that, hey, you need to do online, you need to do e-commerce, it's really, really tough, right? But if we can convince the kids, right, the kids equip the skills, and when the parents ask, the kids actually can tell, hey, dad, you can do this, or mom, you can do that. I think this is at least something that we can do. And I think in the very near future, the current young kids, the youth, they'll become the entrepreneur, they'll become the businessman, they will become the managers or engineers in the company. So I think that's where I think grooming and also putting enough attention on the next generation wannabe, that's also very important. So that I think that's a formula we try to push through.
All right. Okay. Thanks for that, Chan. And let's bring Kai Ping back in so that we can sort of wrap things up with some final thoughts here. All right. So, Karam, what would you think would be the final thought that you'd like to ask?
I guess, it's great that Selangor is putting its money where its mouth is, right? Not the mouth where the money is, okay? and putting a lot of resources there and working as an ecosystem player, right? Bringing the parties together. And I know if you go to DNA and read the article about SIDEC, right, you also see how they're working with the Malaysian Business Angel Network. Because people, organizations that are already doing their own programs, SIDEC will say, hey, let us partner and let us then bring the news to our members. So because they obviously got a database and they've got a voice, right? Selangor has got its own media publications also, so they promote that further. So it ends up being win-win. I think both of them, what even Chan is doing, they're just trying to raise the level, right? Because then, as the what they said, the boats, right? The boats, rise up, right? So the water level rises up, then everybody's, on the same level. So you want all boats, to rise up to the same level. So they're trying to raise the water levels here. And it's great to see. And the collaboration is excellent. And Chan is actually quite selfless. I was just teasing him that there's a benefit for Exabytes. But you see how he totally, it's not true, right? He just wants to grow the skill set so that people benefit in so many different ways. And that's, raising the water levels for everyone. So wonderful. And this is more of what we're going to see in Malaysia. And hopefully, subsequently, we can bring on, the folks from Sarawak and maybe, Johor, right? To talk about, we've already had Penang, right? Digital Penang in also to talk about their experience and, get more of the state, digital agencies in, right? And Kai Ping was saying 2 years ago when they were in Barcelona for the Smart City exhibition, there were 11, right, Kai Ping? 11 delegations from different states in Malaysia. They are also learning. So, good luck. We need to accelerate our development and our growth as a digital economy. And I think we are on the right path. Just need to keep putting your foot on the pedal.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I think I want to congratulate Chan, and then Chan is exemplary of of a company that
True.
willing to work with the whole ecosystem to digitalize, because there's so much work in digitalization. So I think the digitalization topic can go on for another 50 years. you know.
Yep,
Uh,
definitely.
so the issue is to compete in this race is how much resource we should put in. So I think taking Chan an example, I think if we are top 500, those KLSE companies, public listed company, were willing to spend really 2% of their total revenue or profit to really invest in digitalization. So I think then we will be a superpower in digital world. I think I had heard about this comment from my foreign friends that Malaysia has so many plans, but then if we could execute the plans, we are already a superpower. So I think the challenge now is to put the money where to walk the talk. So the always challenge is everyone need to put in resources. The top decision makers, the company top decision makers, the private sector, the public sector need to really invest in digitalization. I think
Yep.
that's very crucial.
Sure.
And just want to add to that. I think any business is an ecosystem. It doesn't exist alone. Whether it's a traditional business, whether it's a digital business, and I'm in the eye of the storm right now because I'm running a product which right now I'm trying to. It's a digital product. It's within the digital space. It's to digitize learning and engagement, and I'm learning so many things. And as I learn, I understand that look, if all these lessons go back to people, it actually encourages more and more people to do the same. And then that's where everybody gains out of it. So I think the key lesson here from what Chan is saying and also what Kai Ping just said as well is as you gain, give back. That's a lifelong lesson for anybody as well. As you gain, give back, because you are going to raise the standard of not just the country, but in the end, it comes back to you. It does come back to you and help you as well. So on that note, thank you so much to Kai Ping and also Chan. Kai Ping from SIDEC and Chan from Exabytes for joining us. Selangor and Penang, what's happening in these two states? And also to everybody out there who joined us, those who are commenting on our LinkedIn, our Facebook, and also on YouTube watching the stream. Thank you so much. Hope you're safe at home. And remember, if you want to catch up on some of the news that we talked about early on, go over the Digital News Asia. There is the 4 pick of the weeks that we mentioned, and there's a lot more as well. If you want to interact with any one of our guests, they are on LinkedIn. All right.
Yep.
Kai Ping and also Chan, they're both on LinkedIn. Go over, talk to them, because there's so many things we could have spoke to them about, but we only have a limited amount of time. If you got questions, go over, talk to them, get some inputs, and see how it can help you in the future. And for my part, I want to say thank you everybody for joining. And remember, Tech Talk Friday is brought to you by Nicole. You want to get your subscription for Nicole.app to start your learning and engagement. Remember the carousel at the bottom. Use Roshan T Lead 30 at Nicole.app. On that note, thank you everybody for joining us for this week's edition of Tech Talk Friday. Stay safe, everybody. Stay at home for now. We'll get out of this, get your vaccine, and let's figure out how to use all these digital tools around us. And who knows what Malaysia is going to be like once this whole ordeal is over. Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend, and we will see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.